only on DAZN, July 12th. Ring 3, Berlanga versus Shirez and Stevenson versus Cepeda. They're in their prime, they're hungry, and they're done being called the future. Berlanga versus Shirez, Stevenson versus Cepeda. Ring 3, live, only on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
And like that, the trilogy is done. And like that, it's 3-0 to Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor defeats Amanda Serrano on a 10-round majority decision. Before we talk about this fight, if you could have a quick look there on screen, please do consider hitting the like, hitting subscribe, all of that good stuff. It takes a split second. We're trying to get to 25. We want to get to 30 by the end of the year. All it takes is a quick second. Please give it a like. Let's talk about this fight. Scorecards 95, 95, 97, 93 by 2. Katie Taylor wins this fight on a majority decision. I just have to say, for Amanda Serrano to be 3-0 against Katie Taylor is a bit harsh. I feel that if there was ever a fight that she legitimately deserved to get the nod in, it was the rematch. The first fight really could have went either way, but Katie Taylor probably did just nick that fight. I felt that the rematch, she should have got the decision, definitely. Amanda Serrano in the rematch, which happened back last November on the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul card, which was the only, well, apart from the other undercard fights, that was the real main event before it all went downhill. And it went downhill rapidly. I mean, we won't even talk about that fight. And then they did the Trilogy fight. Now, this fight was not as entertaining, per se. It was entertaining, but it was not as entertaining, per se, as the first two fights, for the simple reason that both fighters in the first two fights came out with sort of reckless abandonment. They really just set a high tempo. They threw a lot of shots in the first two fights. There was a lot of shots being landed by both girls. And, you know, it was entertaining. That certainly was, in particular the second fight. This fight, on the other hand, it was more a tactical affair. Like, if you go and look at the first round, nothing happened. Like, it's strange because you just imagine both girls come out quick because that's the way they do. That's the way they've fought one another in the past two fights. In the first round, both girls were probing with the jab. They were really, it was a chess game, which again, in female boxing, especially with those 2-minute rounds, you don't tend to see quite a lot of that. It's normally, you know, crash, bang, wallop. Katie Taylor, though, I thought she won the first round. She just landed, quite frankly. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 shots landed. And that was kind of how the fight went. It was a real boxing affair. Amanda Serrano did cause some damage as the fight went on to Katie Taylor. I think it was her left eye. You could see there was a little bit of a bruising, more so than anything else, under the left eye. Katie Taylor was stunned, I think, in the first fight, and she was stunned, I think, in the second fight as well. Didn't really see any real signs of anyone being in, you know, massive trouble or anything like that. Amanda Serrano early on for the first couple of rounds, I thought was getting the better of it. Even though Katie Taylor won the first round, I thought early on in this fight, Amanda Serrano, it was nip and tuck, don't get me wrong. I mean, both girls landed, come the end of the fight, the same amount of shots, 70 punches each, which, considering how much was landed in the first two fights, that's crazy to think it was so little. But it just goes to show that they can box, both girls. And I'm surprised that Katie Taylor hasn't shown that game before, her boxing game, because normally Katie Taylor goes in, she fights very amateurish. She still has that point scoring amateur style, 2-minute rounds, get in, get your work done, get out, get in, get your work done, get out. That's kind of how she does. But you don't do what she did as an amateur without having a bit of boxing ability at the same time. And Katie Taylor can clearly box. We can see that from case in point in this fight. So when it came to boxing, Katie Taylor was given as good as she got. As I said, I thought Amanda Serrano, when she was fresh, was nicking the earlier rounds. But pretty much after round number 5, to me, that's when Katie Taylor started pulling away. Round 8 was a really good round. So round 8 was an interesting round because I found that round very hard to score. The Netflix team gave it to Amanda Serrano because she did outland Katie Taylor in that round. But it was a hard one because Katie Taylor was doing such a great job. And I've never seen Katie Taylor do this in a pro ring that I can remember anyway. I've seen most of her fights where she was counter punching so well off the back foot. It honestly, like, I was like, damn. I knew Katie Taylor was a good fighter. I was like, I didn't think she could still do this or bring this into her game. Because Amanda Serrano would come in with shots in round 8. And Katie Taylor would land these beautiful counters on the back foot and just move out of the way. It was brilliant to watch, actually. It was really good stuff to see. So that was a hard round to score. Because Katie Taylor pretty much after round 5, you could, with the exception of round number 8, she pretty much kind of clean sweeped the second half of the fight. So when we got to the end of this fight, my scorecard, the Netflix scorecard was 95-95. I don't really have any gripe with that, to be honest with you, because it was genuinely very, very close. It was razor razor thin. Again, but both punch stats being the same, you could kind of say it probably should have been a draw. But I had it 96-94, 6 rounds to 4 for Katie Taylor. Sorry about the fly that's flying. There's nothing I can do about that. But I had Katie Taylor just nicking this fight. Even though I actually picked against her for all of the fights, I always thought Amanda Serrano would find a way to win. And I think she did find a way to win in the second fight, but she just didn't get the nod that night. For me, Katie Taylor, deserved winner. I enjoyed this fight. I enjoyed watching it. I haven't seen all the fights that were on the undercard. I haven't seen Elisa Baumgardner, Savannah Marshall lost. I did have a look at just a special shout out before I finished this video. Ellie Scottney. This was hosted by Jake Paul of MVP Promotions, and MVP of the night was Ellie Scottney, bar none. It was a phenomenal performance. She's one away from being undisputed at 122 pounds. You know, I had to laugh, right? Sky Nicholson fought last week and she made her debut at 122 pounds. So she moved down from featherweight, 126, to go to super bantamweight, right? Yeah, if ever that's a decision that's going to backfire, it's that. You do realise Ellie Scottney is the girl in the division, don't you? And Sky Nicholson ain't beating Ellie Scottney. Sky Nicholson will get annihilated. She won't get stopped because Ellie Scottney's not that type of a puncher, but she will make Sky Nicholson look silly in there. She really will. She's a phenomenally talented fighter. MVP of the night was most certainly Ellie Scottney from Catford, South London is where she's from, and absolutely credit to her. The post-fight interviews with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor didn't confirm or deny if she would fight again. I've always said it, and I get this is boxing at the end of the day. You know, in an ideal world, Alexander Usyk should have bowed out after the Fury fight, the second Fury fight, but he's persistent. It's not for me to tell these fighters when to call it, but there is sometimes when the story, you can't get a more perfect ending than that. I think that Katie Taylor should sail off into this. She's nearly 40 now. She had a phenomenal 10 years. I mean, she's changed the game in terms of female boxing over the last 10 years. Well, 9 years she's been pro officially. So I think it's time for her to bow out. She's a legend in Ireland. She's a legend of female boxing. She's really Eddie Hearn's only real winner, if you know what I mean, because all his fighters seem to be losing. She's the only cash cow he has that he can consistently count on. So for me, Katie Taylor, great way to bow out. Amanda Serrano still has loads left in the tank. I think you could tell by the way she's kind of not behaving, imply that's bad, it's not bad, but with the way she's been with MVP, with Jake Paul, that she is kind of going more into a businessy role with them now. So I would imagine Amanda Serrano, we're nearly seeing the end of her. But it was a phenomenal night. It was a great card. I had no complaints. I know female boxing is not for everyone, and I don't cover it an awful lot. I don't. But I had no problem covering this card, covering this fight. It was great to watch. Shout out to both girls. And those are my closing thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video, people. As always, if you could, smash the like button, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. Until next time, peace.